Tom and Jerry Show is sponsored by findavenue.ie.
For over 10 years, findavenue.ie has been working in the Dublin area, helping thousands of companies with all their venue needs. From corporate parties to away days, training seminars, conferences, summer barbecues to Christmas parties. The lot.
As a pair of comedians who know what it's like when the wrong venue gets booked for the wrong occasion, we can assure you that findavenue.ie is the go-to service when you're looking for a venue for your upcoming event. Simply contact them at findavenue.ie and they'll do the rest, saving you precious time and hassle.
Best of all, findavenue.ie is absolutely free to use.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you now, with findavenue.ie, free means free. No hidden costs or sneaky charges, all backed up with an incredible team offering you great customer service throughout the whole process. If you need a venue for anything from corporate day out to a quiz night, a gala dinner, or even a virtual event, findavenue.ie is your one-stop shop for all.
Head over to findavenue.ie to see how they can help you with your next event.
Thanks again to this week's sponsor for the Tom and Jerry Show, findavenue.ie.
You're all very welcome to the Tom and Jerry Show. I am Jerry McBride.
And I'm Tom Mahony. Well.
Yes, indeed. With that out of the way, Tom, let's get into the meat of the matter. How are you doing, my buddy?
Grand. We were just talking off air. I said I was going to keep you up to date as the house build is going. We were laying stone today and it is going well. And I did very well. The man is gifted and just an inquisitive neighbour, was overly inquisitive, and I had to set him straight on the scenario as to what was happening. And I kept it all under wraps. The temper has been, I didn't let it loose. To be fair, I was very magnanimous about the scenario and was very deft and whatnot and kept it together because, in all fairness, I was very excited. I get very excited by high quality operators of anything, of anything. If you can make a sofa, I'm always highly impressed by it. You know, that kind of way.
The keeping a cool head is the main thing, Tom. It must be said.
It was in the moment because I'm quite passionate about stone. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And I was getting excited by it, and then all of a sudden, I get this call from this bloke up the road. What are you doing? And I had to put the kibosh on my temper because I wanted to tell him exactly what everybody who knows me would normally tell somebody in that environment, but I didn't. I kept it. So I'm proud of myself. That's what I'm saying. I'm maturing.
I'm proud of you too, Tom. I'm proud of you too, because I got to tell you, you win these games on aggregate.
That's exactly
there.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's for about five stone and gravel enthusiasts out there that might get that joke.
I fair appreciate that, Jerry. That's really, really good. I mean, you hit pay dirt on that one. You were mining it like it was.
I had that one in the back pocket for 6 months or more. But you're all very welcome along to the Tom and Jerry Show. If I'm sounding even slightly different today, Tom, I got to tell you, it is thanks to the fact that I found this wee doohickey that I was looking for.
More about a doohickey. I want to hear, because you are a man for doohickeys.
I am, and you know what it is? Like, there's a difference between losing something and forgetting where you put it. Okay.
Oh, huge! The frustration in forgetting things.
And like, but this is where the level head comes in, Tom. As your level head helped you out with the big arm man there, my level head helped me keep a level head about this thing, because what I'm talking about is, and nobody can see it on the thing, and certainly if you're listening to a podcast you can't see it, but there's a little sort of like a gimbal on the end of your microphone that attaches it to an arm, and I had thought that was unnecessary, and I had unscrewed it, and
I remember.
I
remember we, for the listeners, myself and Jerry had a back and forth through pictures of how to put a fucking thing together, and Jerry would not wait for me to show him the exact way to put it together. Of course, he drove on like your average father will drive on.
Oh, take us a ditch.
And you cobbled something together.
Yeah, I jerry rigged the whole thing together. That phrase was named after me.
It was,
and it was working fine. And then I moved. Look, long story short, last week I was like, where is that little snavets that I had? It's like and it was nothing in money terms. I'd say I could have bought another one for like €15 or
not a hope, Chair. Not a hope, because they won't. It's like a wing mirror. You're never going to buy the glass. They want to sell you the whole thing, I guarantee.
I had found it. In truth, Tom, I wasn't going to get the one little specific thing I wanted, but they would sell me part of a bigger thing, and I'd be like, okay, well, I have to throw the half of that out. Long story short, Tom, do you ever just know that you didn't throw a thing out? And it's not like, well, I swept it up and threw it out, and I put it in a collection of stuff, and then I threw the whole thing out. I knew in my heart and soul that there was no world where I would have thrown this thing out. I just didn't know where I put.
This whole office is literally full of that. Could be the
Right?
theme of this office. It is full of things that I haven't thrown out, and every so often I run across them. But unfortunately, they've become obsolete to what I need them for. I'm like, well,
And yeah, but
Jesus.
but you know it's in there somewhere, right?
And it's not. It's never getting thrown out. It's coming to the
And
new house, like to
and
the new place.
there's a very different satisfaction between losing something and finding it. And when you find it, you're like, oh, thank God, oh, I love that. Oh, Jesus,
Oh,
that was lost, and I
Saint
found it.
Anthony, by God.
Saint Anthony, I found it. And but there's a difference between when you find something you knew you didn't throw out. It's like, haha, I've beaten you, me.
Fair play to me for beating me. Yeah, I mean
Fair play to me for beating me. Me tried to
the
outsmart
sadness in
me,
it, like you're just, it's like the meme of Spider-Man standing in a circle all pointing at each
pointing
other.
at himself. Yeah. Because it was that sort of thing, Tom. Like, I don't live in a huge house or an estate or anything like that. You know, I wasn't in the east wing of the house. I knew there was like 6 places this thing could be, and it wasn't. But it wasn't the seventh. It wasn't the seventh. I just had to do the sums.
Well, it doesn't matter the size of your house. This is an 8x8 studio, Jerry, and there are more crannies than there are nooks. And I'll tell you right now, I could hide half a cow in here if I wanted, or if I had a necessity to, or if I didn't want it, it would hide somewhere inside in this place.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a
Just
million and one. I found a Fat Max Stanley knife that I never ever used in the pocket of a jacket just to my left the other day, and I'd say it's it's that old now. It's probably gone out of circulation. I don't know if
uh,
the current blades even fitted anymore.
that's old.
Yeah, yeah.
That's old, bro.
I was violently angry with myself actually because I had actually
You
put it
bought
out of
five
my mind.
knives. That's the
Yeah,
point.
of course I did. Of course I have 5 more. So if anybody wants the best answers on a postcard today to win yourself a Stanley Fat Max Stanley knife.
Yeah, never been fired and only dropped once.
Blades never include will not be included.
Well, listen, speaking of lost and found, Tom, we appear to have lost our way into the episode, so we better find our way through to the regular show. Ladies and gentlemen, you will all know that we kick off every week with a look into the big noise of the week, Tom. The brouhaha, the
Mm-hmm.
unsettlement, the story, the weekly what have you.
This is a very complicated case, Maud. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in my head, man. You know.
I like this one. You we were back and forth on obviously what we were going to do and whatnot, but you brought it up, and rarely will you bring up something of science fiction that I'll be able to get on board with.
Yes. And
Not
this
that
is it.
I'm
Just
against it. Not that I'm against it. I love it. I love the idea of science fiction and stuff like that, but certain stuff passed me by for whatever reason.
yes.
And this is the 25-year anniversary of Darth Maul and Michael Collins himself, Liam Neeson.
Yes.
And
Michael Collins, the Jedi.
do you know what? That is a cross pollination that I want to see. Like
That is the wider Liam Neeson universe that the world demands.
Jim will fix it. Jim will paint it, I should say. Jim will paint it.
Yeah, Jim will fix it. Jim
will fix it is a different vibe, but Jim will paint it is an amazing person you should follow on Instagram. And a gift I gave to Jerry is just over his shoulder of the great Fred Dibnah standing behind the Towers of Mordor. And Jim will paint any mad combo of things you put together. And I love the idea of Michael Collins as a Jedi. And maybe what was his name in Trainspotting? Was it?
Oh, Ewan McGregor. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor. What was his name?
Yeah,
Just
Renton. Yeah. Mark Renton. Yeah.
And they're just fighting your man. Like, but yes,
having to go with your man. But yes, no, Tom is correct and right. If you go down to the cinema today, you're in for a big surprise because you can go and see the 25th anniversary re-release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And pulling back the curtain of the Tom and Jerry show here, when we're picking the weekly what have you, it's not necessarily the biggest news story of the week, but it's the one that we can rip the piss out of the most.
Yeah. But to be fair, I don't have much. I fall all the time on my sword accidentally when it comes to these trending things in science fiction, especially because I'll go, I like that. And then all of a sudden I get barraged on Twitter going, ugh, doofus.
Yeah,
like
you don't even like it, right?
These bunch of basically Napoleon Dynamites just pile on, going, ugh.
The thing
like,
here,
I don't know. Should I not have liked it? I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, what do you want me to do here? I thought it was good. Here's the thing with the Phantom Menace, Tom. And it's 25 years out. So if you're 25 years old, listening to this, you might not even know what we're talking about. But when that came out, I was like 17 going on 18, and you would have been not far behind me, 17 going on 18. Like, so I would have been just about the right height for it, coming out of school, and in a place where I'd be like, right, what do we like now? All right, you're getting near to be a man now. What do you want? And I was like, I'm going to like science fiction. Always liked it. Sometimes if you're at school, you'd be like, you'd be slagged for liking that kind of thing. Oh, that's baby shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm
I
like,
did.
no, I'm a grown ass man here now,
Yeah.
kind of sort of. You know what? If I tell you I like science fiction, I'm going to watch this Star Wars and I'm going to be a Star Wars fan. And from here on out, I'll tell you one thing: this is all the things I like. It's got spaceships and lasers and fighting and robots and wee monsters and boys, and I'm going to like this thing. And then I watched it, Tom, and
I don't know. It's the only one I've ever seen in the movies, and it may tell you everything you need to know that I didn't. I've never seen
seek
another
the
one
other
since.
genre. Yes.
I did my only connection to Star Wars because it was ahead of both our times. It was the 70s, like so.
Yeah, we were born too late for the first one, but we were born in banging time to enjoy this nonsense.
Well, whatever it is, I think I figured it was on the back. It actually was kind of like a new movie to me. I knew nothing about it really.
Right,
I was
okay.
Lord of the Rings and that kind of thing. I was spacey
Gotcha.
stuff was never. I could never put my
I
hand on
was,
it.
yeah. I was
But
an Indiana Jones kid too. Like I like that
yeah,
kind
I
of thing.
like that kind of
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. But I could never put my hand on the space stuff because it was like, what? Go fucking everybody has big moldy heads on them, and there's yolks
Yeah.
dripping off fellas. And whereas at least but with this, I remember myself and my brother because we both saw the ad, of course, and nothing cool. There was nothing cool about Liam Neeson with long hair, and there was
No.
nothing cool about Ewan McGregor. But that dude with the horns on his head, I was like, well, I don't,
Oh
I've never.
yeah.
This looks class, Darth Maul. I said,
Two lightsabers.
we knew nothing about, but I just went. It's kind of a karate movie, I think. It's in karate in space. And we both were into obviously karate movies growing up. Jean
Kumite.
Claude,
Yeah.
yeah, Kumite.
It's the
For God's sake.
Kumite in space.
Literally, that's what
Yeah.
I was banking on. And I can't tell you one thing that happened other than the fight where there was kind of a laser and elevator door kept on coming up in front of him and they kept
Yes.
on having to stop. And I remember thinking, well, that's the stupidest shite I've ever seen in my life.
That
Would you
was
just
that
get into it?
Would you just you start throwing the Thompson the digs? Tom's correct, like there had been 3 Star Wars movies before this, and to think back now, it's like there hadn't been a Star Wars movie in over 10 years. It's like, yeah, you know what, really wasn't all that long now that we're grizzled old men. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
watching the original Star Wars movies when they'd come up on telly, and I distinctly remember one thing I hated when I was little, Tom, was do you know in like stop motion dinosaur
Yeah,
movies or things like this?
yeah.
If a
Like the
dinosaur would
early
pick up a
Godzillas.
cowboy,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if picking someone up and biting them in half, always used to frighten the shit out of me.
Okay.
Right,
No, I
and
was all right with that.
lo and behold, the start of Return of the Jedi, what happens? He falls into a pit, and there's a big monster, and the monster grabs a man and bites him in half. And I was like, "Good luck, I'm going outside to run around.
So you know people
I'm
right
gonna,
now.
yeah, I'm
You
gonna run
know
around for a little bit."
Jerry's
And I remember watching
irrational
Empire.
fear.
I don't even know if I watched these all in sequence, but I remember watching Empire Strikes Back, and the boy gets an arm chopped off, and I'm like, "Nah, go on, you're all right with this. I'll go out and run around." But when I was an older gentleman, Tom, when I was 17 or 18, I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch Liam Neeson in this, and I knew who was who, and Darth Vader was this lad, and so was his dad, and so was his mum, and all this kind of crack, and I was like, I'm getting into this. And I'll tell you, it was a tough road, Tom. It was the movie. If you haven't watched it, ladies and gentlemen, then you can let us know in the comments whether you liked it or not. It's heavy lifting, so it is.
Tell me now because I have no memory of it. We drove to it and we watched it, and I have no memory other than that. Was it a load of shit?
Look,
Your man was cool
you have to
with the black and
sorry,
face, the black and
black
red.
face and all that, the black and red face was all cool. There was a lot of cool stuff in it, Tom. But you must remember these things are for children.
Well, Samuel L. Jackson leaping around in it with Yoda.
Samuel L. Jackson was in it after the fact, yeah. He came in it after the fact. And look, it's not like it killed the franchise dead, because it's still to this day, all the new movies came out and they're fine, I suppose. And then I did watch that Mandalorian TV show, and I thought that
Oh
was good. I
yeah,
didn't
I
watch
like
the
that.
latest of it. I like that just fine. They don't like, I've watched my Star Wars in my time, Tom.
Yeah.
But there came a point where I was like, you've lost me here now.
So what I want to ask you now, since we both peeled back the envelope on this one, like you'd know a bit more of the lore, I suppose, than I would. Because
Yeah,
I know none of the lore. I knew none of it going in. I took it at face value and came away going,
I like the lore. I
eh.
do. Yeah.
But is it worth? Is the Star Wars thing? Is it worth it? Like, is it? Because it sounds like a heap of work. Like it just.
Here's the thing. Here's your problem with the Star Wars. Here's my problem with Star Wars, Tom.
Oh,
Right?
now,
It takes
now,
place. I'm gonna tell
everybody,
you this now. It takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far,
far,
far
far
away.
away.
Right?
Right.
And there's hundreds of planets and thousands of people, and any amount of things you could go, places to go, people to see, people to meet. And it's the same seven fuckers over and over again. And everything's tied back to Luke Skywalker. You can't turn a sweet in your mouth, but you're hitting someone that's a distant cousin or a relation or a Christ knows what.
Do you think it was the first of its kind when it came out at first? The first, because I don't think it's been replicated so many times over and over. Game of Thrones was Star
Yeah,
Wars, technically. The new Rebel Moon thing is Star Wars, apparently. I
for
don't
all
know.
intents and purposes.
Apparently, the new one is very righty. Or there's an uncut version that's ferociously righty. That your man brought out. I don't know, but were they the first to do this? But they did it in space. Like, was it? What I'm trying to say, like, was the Darby O'Gill and the Little People? Is that where we peaked on Supernatural Carry On?
I think that's where, yeah, after Darby O'Gill and the Little People, it was Lord knows what. I'll tell you what Star Wars is like, Tom. That everybody knows everybody. It's like being an Irish lad working on a site in Australia. Do you know? And no matter where you are in Australia, who are you, O'Connor? From where? Oh yeah, I know you, and I know you, and I know your father, and I went to school with your brother, and all this kind
Yeah.
of crack. That's what it is. Like Luke Skywalker just shows up on a desolate wasteland planet in the arsehole in nowhere, in space, and there's someone sitting across the way going, "Come on, Luke, how are you keeping?"
Ah, Jesus, right. See, for
You see what I'm
years,
saying?
I'll tell you how little I understood. For years I thought Indiana Jones was Luke Skywalker. For years, turns
Right.
out, and when I found out subsequent to that he was only the he was only the support actor, I was like,
Yes.
I don't give a shit. So, because
Yeah.
the Indiana Jones, who's this Mark Hamill fellow? What's he done since? Nothing.
Nothing.
Grant, you can park that, because if Indiana Jones isn't top of the bill, then I don't want to know. And he's
Yeah.
apparently been outacted by a dog, a big hairy dog fella. So
I
I'm
will
all right.
I will tell you one thing, Tom. Our man Liam Neeson is in episode 1 of Star Wars. And like I remember thinking he was an old man back then, and he's like an old man. 25 years later, he suddenly started whipping ass.
The hair's still lovely and brown though. Fair play to him.
Here's the thing, right? The one thing I remember distinctly about it, because it was big noise and it was in all the I don't know if this still happens to this day, but folks, when you're listening to us, remember we come from a time that if a movie was coming out, a big movie coming out, it was on the news. Like it made the 9 o'clock news. And there was a big hubbub in London today for the royal premiere of Star Wars Episode 1. Or I remember it was on the news at 10, the London premiere of Hot Shots Part 2. They would do it for anything. It was just a way to fill 5 minutes of news.
Yeah.
And Prince Charles met Charlie Sheen and all this kind of nonsense, right? But I remember there was a big drive on for Star Wars, and it came out in the summer, yes. But the Christmas before that, Liam Neeson appeared on the Late Late Toy Show with Gay Byrne.
Right.
And he just walked out, just in his civvies. He wasn't dressed up as a Jedi or anything like that. And Gay Byrne was having a crack with him and saying, "How are you keeping, Liam? What's going on?" And Liam Neeson is a foot and a half above Gay Byrne. Like, he's a big, tall dude. And Liam Neeson is saying, like, "Oh, well, at the minute, I'm going to try and do Liam Neeson here. You're the impressions man about us, but let me try and do Liam Neeson. He's close enough. He's like, I'm on the border.
He's from Ballymena, like he's only up the road.
Yeah, up the road. Well, now, Gay, I'm just filming Star Wars at the minute, and so that's what we're doing now. That's going to keep me busy for a little while." And the crowd were all like, polite applause. "Yeah, well done, you're doing Star Wars." And Gay Burns is like, "Fair enough." And it's the toy show, and you have 2 wee boys at home, which they're grown men now at this stage. But we got them a little something, and he brought out 2 Hurleys for the boys, right?
Right.
For Liam to take him home with him. A nice gesture, all right. And I remember at the time they were kind of like a soft Hurley for kids. Do you know right?
Yeah,
Do you know that?
Horlogs, yeah.
And they were only new at the time. And they gave him two Hurleys, right? And 2 Slithers.
Right.
But the Slithers were in, like, if you can imagine a punnet of Slithers. and it was a punnet that held 6, but there was only 2 in it.
You have the most obscure memory, McBride. What?
But that just stuck with me for life. Why didn't you give him 6 litters? Who? Oh, Liam Neeson is coming in this evening, lads.
Yeah,
Run down
it's
to Lifestyle
Schindler's
Sports.
List. Like, come on, man.
Run down to Lifestyle Sports. Get 2 Hurleys and Slithers. Oh, there's 6 Slithers. No, right. Take 4 out of it and give. Why would you take 4 Slithers out of a pack of 6?
I've only brought a 20. I can't buy all 6. Come on.
And
All right.
Neeson's looking at it here.
And if you're going to give him
thanks
2,
very much.
If you're going to give him 2, just hand him the 2. Don't leave him in the punnet.
Yeah, and like just hand them the 2, leave them at that now. And like, not for nothing, but like Liam Neeson was married to an English woman, so them kids are half English, so they're going to promptly lose them Slithers. They're not going to know. Like, give them the 6 Slithers, right? They're half Englishmen with a Hurley. Like, they're not going to be able to control that ball. And that's one of my big memories of Star Wars Episode 1 when he gave him 2.
I couldn't wrap my head around the backward, forward, upside down, or your underpants inside out, starting Episode 1, 4 movies in. I was like, well, I'm not fully invested here, lads, because if we've gone back to the beginning and you already started without me, then I don't know where we're going with this. And look, we walked out of the place kind of going,
yeah, you're right.
It was the thing myself and the brother used to do at the time. I remember going to see Eminem in Punchestown.
Okay.
And we pulled up, we were going staying in Dublin, having a couple of drinks, and we went to see, I think it was Punchestown, we went to see him. And we went, there was muck and scutter everywhere. We found we stood on one patch of grass, see all these lads going around with do-rags, white lads going around with do-rags with their trousers around, their jocks hanging out, the whole lot. Myself and himself, big Eminem fans, but cannot buy into the...
Right.
I'm very bad at buying into the...
Yes.
I'm very bad at that. I just can't. When it comes to going with the crowd on a thing, it's not that I adversely go against it, but I'm like, Christ, that looks like a load of effort to try and look like somebody. I'll just look like me, will I? And just leave that there. And we stood there, first song, second song, about a half in. We both looked at each other and went, you're still a big fan. I'm still a big fan. Do you want to? Yeah, we're back in the car.
Beat the traffic,
5 minutes later. And we into Dublin and actually had some pints properly. But the same thing, we gave it a go. It wasn't for us. We gave the Phantom Menace a go, which I always thought was a ridiculous name because I liked reading Dennis the Menace, and I thought it was the most undangerous name, the most inert villain name you could. You're a menace. Really? What? I have a slingshot in my back pocket. I'm gonna fire a couple of pebbles at your window.
You're a Phantom Menace, so you're a menace that's not even here yet. All right, well, give me a shout when you're at the door there, lad.
Do you know what a Phantom Menace is? Somebody plays that knick-knack or whatever it is, or knick-knock, and you just knock on the door and run away and hide in the bush.
Bang on the door,
You Phantom Menace!
I don't even know where you are.
Call him this spiky-headed, wild-looking hooer. That's
the thing. I don't think Darth Maul was the Phantom Menace. I think the Phantom Menace was just the lingering threat of danger.
Was it not the old boy that had the hood over his eyes, giving it loads?
25 years later, Tom, I still don't know.
Yeah. Oh, do you not? I thought you was full sure you were about.
No, it was just like, I know. And that's the damnedest thing, Tom. Like, it was a poor movie, and you knew it was start of a trilogy. So you had to wait around another 3 years to see if it got good. And then it didn't. And you say, well, all right, I better wait around another 2 or 3 years to at least see the end of it.
Was there some
And then you go like, I have wasted 8 years on this nonsense.
Was there some soppy young fella some young fella turned up in the next one? Am I wrong? All right.
Was he
quick, or was he in that one?
He was quick in this one because he was doing the podcasting. We were doing podcasting. He was doing pod racing.
I know what you're thinking of because he was in a movie doing a podcast, and he's about 18 stone heavier as a man. He's some bullock of a lad now.
Well, the young lad now, and we won't get too deep in it, but the young lad that played Anakin Skywalker in Phantom Menace, he was only about 8 or 9 at the time, and he got bullied mercilessly for it.
Did he?
And then he quit acting. I think he's having issues now these days, that sort of way, like on account of several things. But he's not seen in public in a long time because he's having.
He was podcasting in a movie.
He has these problems.
I saw him. He was podcasting in a movie. I saw him, and I think it was that movie Tusk, which I would urge people, if you're in the mood to see one of the most messed up things in your life, only to be superseded by the human centipede, go watch Tusk. Just
Tusk is heavy lifting.
Heavy lifting.
I don't know that there's anybody Star Wars. I know the gas and you're on about though. I don't think he's anything to do with Star Wars.
Is he not Joel Christensen? No.
No, that's the wee lad from The Sixth Sense. That's the boy that can see dead people.
Ah, sure. Look at same thing, isn't it? He can see the Phantom Menace. Here, if you do want, if it is your bag, go see it. You know what? I mean, I cannot tell you if I thought it was a load of shite or not, but I didn't become a major fan as a result of it afterwards.
It's in cinemas now if you want to go see it, and may the force be with you. Tom, that's enough about those lads, because I got to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to rock and roll with the show, Tom, and segment number 2 of the show, people should be getting the swing of it, is when we talk about somebody that, the kind of person, when you talk about them, you don't just say, oh, well, and then there's this lad. Tom, you say, and then there's this lad.
Now there's that guy.
This lad for this week. We don't have a name on him. Last week we knew
there's no name. There's no name to be gotten.
There's no name. He's got actually quite a Star Wars name. He's got a name like a droid.
What?
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about B400.
Yeah, B400.
Yes, indeed. B400 is who we are talking about right now.
It sounds like the CB handle a fellow would give himself that drives in a 00 IS200 Lexus and goes rallying around the Midlands in it. And he's
breaker. This is B400. Smokey on my tail.
100%, doesn't it?
Well, B400, ladies and gentlemen, is not a droid in the Star Wars movie, nor is he being chased up the road by Smokey. B400 is the foreman in the jury of the trial of Donald Trump currently taking place. Now, what makes him this week's this lad, though, Tom?
Because this lad... Do you know what? I love Ireland. I love Ireland. He's Irish. That's the thing.
Irish.
And not American Irish. Not one of these, I'm Irish. You know,
I can trace my roots back to
Ballina in Ballina. No, this guy's actually from Ireland. As soon as you sent it on to me, because I don't look at the news at all, and I see the most stupid things, and you know. Everybody else talks about political stuff, and I think my phone knows that I don't have the capacity for it. But I love this because the description of him was he's fairly outdoorsy. He describes himself as outdoorsy, and he likes watching MSNBC News and Fox News, which are obviously, because heaven forbid Americans would have just, I don't watch it. Kind of an attitude. They have to be one side of the fence. Or Christ Almighty!
It's amazing to me the way that Americans can pick a news
side. Yeah.
Where do you you ask me where you get your news? I don't know. I just kind of walk out in the rain and hold my hands out, and whatever happens. You know, these guys are like, you know, I trust this news, but not this news. We could talk all night about that, but there you go.
Is Fox News Trumpy or is CNN Trumpy? I don't know.
Fox News would be right wing leaning, shall we say?
Okay, and then CNN would, but they totally don't do the news. Sure, they don't. They
don't. No.
Both sides. I've seen their news, and both sides, they're just the most dramatic thing. Again, the other side, you're like, but that's not the news at all. You're getting cranky.
Yeah, no, if Fox News would be like, Mexicans at it again.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, no, but at what? What are you telling me? But Donald Trump currently is experiencing some legal troubles there, Tom. Not our place to comment on it. But he is, if I'm correct here now, because there's been that much thrown at the man over the last 10 years, it's hard to keep track of it. But this particular trial is that he used funds in a fraudulent way to pay off a lady called Stormy Daniels.
Is this the Hush case? So, right,
this is the Hush case. Right, isn't it hard to just keep track of what this guy's doing?
I don't. Literally every day, there's a new yoke. And I don't know. It doesn't seem to take any effect. But yes, I suppose. And is that it? He was misuse.
That's it. Yeah,
misuse out of his own pocket. Oh, jeez. All right, fair enough.
You can't use company money for this crack either, Tom.
But yeah, it'd be hard to.
There's a
Where'd
lot
you
we
get the
don't know
receipt
about
on
fraud,
that?
buddy.
Where'd you get the receipt on that? But an Irishman has made it onto the actual.
Onto the jury, yes. And Tom, here's what we're going to do as an experiment here. And we won't name this man by name because we don't know his name. But we're going to try, you and I, to work out as much as we can from this man, from the information available to us. How does that
Okay.
sound?
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, I want to point out how excited I am on his behalf because it's like when you see somebody at the Super Bowl wearing a Mayo for Sam t-shirt.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, go on out of that.
Oh yeah, I do see that sometimes if I'm watching the wrestling and it goes out into the crowd and there's signs and someone holding up like an Irish flag. I'm like, who are you? How did you get over there?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like,
because we'll turn up at anything. Like, you'll get a lad in a Kilkenny jersey at a riot in Moscow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's cold over there. Like, you want a jacket over that Kilkenny jersey, but he's like, nope, I gotta show that there's a cat out here. We get around and it must be said, Tom, I'm very proud of him, I suppose, that he's gotten this far in life to be chosen for a jury at random from everybody living in New York where he is right now.
How do we not know his name? Because the second. Well, I suppose he's got to keep his powder dry. But Jesus, if you got in on a major case jury like this, how would you not text the boys or the mother or something?
Well, it has to be. That there was people living wherever this man is from. There was people listening to that jury selection come out, and every segment every little nugget of information they gave on this chap, they leaned in a little closer, like they were getting 6 numbers in the lotto. Hang on,
yeah,
at 5,
and the bonus number is.
It's like, and he's this, and he's that, and he lives here, and they're just leaning in closer, and that sounds no, and does he? That's your man. That's young Samuels.
So what do we have on him? So
here's what we have on him.
I kept on getting shut down every time I went into a thing. Like the Guardian shut me down out of it. Now it was through my phone, but it was like it wouldn't let me read half of what I needed to read about him. Like I was.
I have it here. Okay.
Okay.
Everything that's known about this man, we know about it right here. Okay. He is Juror 1, B400 male. The 4-person. And pardon my legal ignorance here, Tom, but like all my legal knowledge comes from Ali McBeal. 4-person in a jury. That's, I guess, the guy that stands up and says, "Have you reached a verdict?" "Yes, Your Honor." That guy, right?
I swear to God, if he's from West Kerry or South Kerry, South Kerry.
Have you reached a verdict?
Only got himself. Only got above. Only got above. Can make it rain. No, we didn't ask you that, sir. We asked you if you've reached a verdict. I don't jail them after Lane Road. My father Lane Road for that man down below, and his sheep going up and down the road.
You should ever be leaving him alone. Listen to me. Okay, here we go. Let me get this right. Okay. So number 1, here's what we know about him, about Juror B400 this week's this lad. Okay. Yeah. First and foremost, how he presented himself to the court. He rocked up wearing a black t-shirt and carrying a backpack. That's important, Tom. Okay. Because, there's people that carry backpacks and people that don't.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Your dad won't carry a backpack.
Not a fit. No.
I would carry a backpack because I might have like stuff in it.
I haven't gone backpack in a while. I have a backpack there. I have Indiana Jones style fishing. I only found out it's a fishing satchel, but it's for going to gigs and stuff like that. But it is a satchel. You're partial to a satchel.
I'm partial to a satchel as well. I'm rocking a backpack these days, double strap it across.
Makes sense.
But like that means to say, like, it's youthfulish, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because his age is not. He's got to be sub 50.
Yeah, he's got to be sub 50.
He's got to be well sub 50. Okay, so we get into it. So he's wearing a black t-shirt and a backpack. So t-shirt and a backpack. So this is, I don't want to be straight away like, oh, he loves himself. He's wearing a black t-shirt. Here we go. All right. Also, not for nothing, Tom, he didn't know he was going to get selected for any particular jury. Like, imagine you're just called up. Okay, call in to see if you're eligible for jury duty. Okay, go in there with 40 other people. We're going to pick 12 of you. And you sit down and you look across the way and it's Donald Trump sitting there and you're like, oh, Christ. My life was one thing and now it's another.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the defining moment of my life.
He's got book deal already locked in, I'd say. Yeah.
Now, if you thought you were going to be called for the jury of Donald Trump, like, you wouldn't rock up in a t-shirt and a backpack.
No. No, you wouldn't.
All right. Okay, so he is a middle-aged salesperson. A middle-aged plus black t-shirt plus black pack puts him
40.
25 to 33 in my book.
I don't know. I think middle-aged. I think they in America they
Middle-aged is
push.
30 plus, would it be?
I
Yeah.
think it is. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it'd be 30 plus. But he's a salesperson, so he's not selling. He's not selling. Certainly not selling suits if he's rocking up in a t-shirt. Do you know what I mean?
No. No.
Software.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Here's the thing, Jerry.
are the
He's
days of software salesmen still a thing? I don't think that's a thing. It's not like you
uh,
rock up to somebody and say, "Hey, you want to buy a laptop?"
there aren't many salesmen left anymore. Maybe he's a banker of some sort, is he?
Well, if he was
Maybe
a
he's a
banker, they'd say he was a banker. They'd say he was a broker or a in finance, as they say.
But
And
maybe
if he
they're
was
not.
like a
Oh yeah,
stocks
maybe.
guy, it'd be like, oh, he's a crypto trader or some crap like that. No, a salesperson sells something.
See what he works in a TV or a computer shop like Harvey Norman,
Yeah, I'm thinking he
America.
works in like an Apple shop or some such. Like
And
works in.
he is legal. That's the thing, because not every
Oh
Irish
yeah, no,
person you're
he
going to
is.
meet
Yeah,
over
yeah,
there is
no,
legal.
yeah. You wouldn't be. Yeah, this isn't a lad that's dodging immigration because he immigrated to the United States from Ireland. That is, he is a middle-aged salesman who immigrated to the United States from Ireland, so he's legit, right? Which, and I'm just going to say this, kind of says to me, not a tradesman.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just gonna.
yeah.
Sorry to do it to you guys over there, to anybody that's living over there, but there's a bang of undocumented about the trades. I'm sorry.
It's true. It's true.
And see also musicians and just the arts in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is a guy that knew he wanted to go over there and work in whatever their equivalent of the Vodafone shop is.
Yeah, well, I shoveled concrete illegally there for a little bit, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a trade actually to my name. I was just arms and legs and a head. That was it.
Yeah, well, but the statute of limitations is over. But at the same time, you weren't going to get called for the trial of the century either, Tom.
Unlikely, given the scenario that I was. No, very unlikely.
There was only one way you were going to be key player in the trial of the century,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So what
All
else?
right.
What else have we got on him?
He lives in West Harlem. Okay. Now, I don't know much about West Harlem, but I know Harlem is Harlem, right? But I know you also have Spanish Harlem. And is there a lot of Irish in West Harlem? I thought we always preferred
Queens and
flipping
Yonkers.
Hell's Kitchen or
Yeah.
or New Jersey in general, not in Manhattan at all.
You'd find, you'd find Irish there, all right, but normally it is out in the boroughs. Like I said, Yonkers is big Irish. Queens is big Irish. Flushing. What is it? Flushing Queens, Flushing Meadows, Flushing toilets, whatever. Yeah, typically.
Well, Yonkers is now, and I hate to get all geographical on you, Tom. That's up top, right?
I think so. I think
right.
Listen. I was there. That's all I know.
I guess if he lived and I think I have people in Yonkers all told as well. If he lived up that direction and just needed to move in towards the city to have a better transport to his job in what I've decided is Verizon Wireless, then that would, okay, Harlem's a sort of halfway house between that, right?
Yeah, it would make sense.
Hasn't quite been gentrified out too much, so rent would be relatively cheap.
Probably there's so much to rent there, but it's still and New York's rent is, I don't know what way it is at the minute, but I mean it isn't. Yeah, I mean it's.
I'm not asking. I gotta tell you, Tom, I'm not asking this for no particular reason. Okay,
yeah.
If I work out what this man's rent is, I can narrow it down to a county he's from.
Oh right, but also like he has his sales job too, as you said, possibly in an Apple store or something like that.
Yeah, it just I could be wrong, but he just speaks tech to me here. The black t-shirt. I don't know what to tell you.
The only big Apple thing, like if it was Apple or tech, was either Leixlip or Cork. Those are the two big spots, like.
No, but like you could be working in Vodafone and Galway just as handy and like
right
transfer
enough,
your skills right over.
Yeah.
There's
fair
something.
Enough.
There's something about the at loan to Roscommon stretch about this man.
Yeah. They in themselves are a phantom menace. The Midlands people there, yes.
Okay, so he lives in West Harlem and he normally gets his news from the New York Times, Daily Mail, Fox News, and MSNBC. Now, I don't know much about those particular outlets. I know the New York Times is a little bit, as I understand it, to be a little bit hoity-toity. So that'd be the kind of thing, Tom, if someone was to ask you where you got your news from, you'd probably go, the Irish Independent, even if you never read a newspaper in your life. Just because you don't want to just say CFAX.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to turn around and go like, well, I'll tell you one thing now. If it wasn't in the Beano, I am unlikely to have seen it. Okay. I get my news from those
Come on.
ones.
You know who I am. It was Viz. I watched it. If it isn't on the back pages of Viz, then I'm not interested.
But my man, he said the New York Times, the Daily Mail, Fox News, and MSNBC. That's just like someone shouted at him, like, name 5 things and you win a
That's a
grand.
spattergun of news. That's
Isn't it right?
That's every kind of I sure look good.
She, you know
Everything from
yourself. News.
the Cavan people down to the Tipperary Star, you know yourself.
Oh, sure it is. I couldn't narrow it down to one news outlet. That he says Fox News, Tom, though, if he says Fox News, I have a feeling that maybe he would watch Fox News. Like that's the truth in the middle of it all, I reckon. The rest are like, oh, I get fancy news, but like my real news is, yeah, I read the Star. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and Fox News, as we said before, not for nothing, Tom, is a little bit right leaning, all that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's a little bit God, guns, and Trump. So if he says he gets his news from Fox News, I'm thinking Catholic.
Oh, for sure he is. Like,
All
for
right.
sure he
Maybe
is.
not
Yeah,
practicing, but definitely raised. But I don't think that helps us narrow it down. I mean, he's Irish,
No,
for God's
geez,
sake.
yeah. Like, it's like saying, well, he's Italian, possibly Catholic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so a Catholic. And where else is he from, Tom? In his spare time, he said he enjoys doing, you said it up top,
Outdoorsy.
anything outdoorsy. That screams culty to me, buddy.
Oh, he's culty for sure. Now
For
you
sure.
do get the odd South Dubliner, all right. You know, they've bought a hatchet and a tent and they do like to go up the Wicklow Mountains, you know what I mean? With the,
Yeah, but they'll tell you exactly what they're doing.
That's the only
they
thing,
don't do
yeah.
something outdoorsy. They'll say, "Oh, I go camping or I go
Yeah.
foraging."
Yeah, yes,
I go
okay.
urban foraging.
It's got a title, okay.
It's guy, yeah. But this guy likes doing anything outdoorsy, and he lives in Manhattan.
Shit choice if you like doing outdoorsy stuff. Unless outdoorsy involves a lot of concrete, then you're in business. But
then you're elected.
You can't drive a tent peg into a fucking footpath. You know,
I have tried.
So outdoorsy, yeah, he's definitely okay. Yeah, he's a culty. Like, he is a culty.
He is a culty. He's an Irish Catholic culty who works as I'm going to give him a manager in a cricket wireless shop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I think if we have that triangulated enough, then you throw in a backpack now. If that they said the color of the backpack, Tom, I swear to God, we would have got this by.
I'd love to know if there's a backpack, from a county team at home or.
Do you know what? I can guarantee you what it is, Tom. It's a backpack from Kellogg's Cool Camps.
Samba soccer. That's what it is.
Yeah, he has it this 10 or 15 years. She couldn't throw that. That's a good bag.
Well, actually, that's the one that came with me. It hadn't nothing. I stitched it 3 times. I guarantee it's a bag like Trigger's brush. You know what I mean? I put 2 new straps on it, 4 new zips, a new front.
And you asked me what he's carrying around at Tom. He's carrying his lunch.
For sure. I guarantee you.
Wrapped in the wrapper of the bread.
What's he bringing that he can't fix in it? Like, he's not going to work. Do you know what I mean?
But so he's the kind of boy that
he's bringing the lunch. He's bringing the lunch.
Look, I'm bringing the lunch. I'm not going to pay $5 for a bagel. Sure, couldn't I bring a bagel from the house?
Okay. County though.
There's something borderish about him, Tom.
There's definitely. I was going to say no.
I
think he's loud. I think he's loud or someplace like that.
Yeah, there's something about the packed lunch in.
Would he be Longford?
Bag.
Would he be North Longford maybe?
There's nothing that says south or indeed southeast to me.
No.
These are he's in the shoulders of the country, Tom.
He knows the smell of turf.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He'd know it if he rounded the corner, like.
He's
a t-shirt. I don't think he was even wearing the t-shirt to be ironic. You know what I mean? I think he was just wearing the t-shirt because it wasn't roasting. And he possibly had a jumper in the bag.
He had the jumper in the bag with the sandwiches, is right.
Yeah. And he was practical man.
Well, that's why he got to be juror number 1.
Yeah, you have to look at that too. He's no doll, like, you know what I mean? They looked at him and went, okay, this fella's licking windows for a living. Like, he's...
No, he's got his head on his shoulders and he knows what he's at. Yeah. I gotta tell you, Tom,
do you know what he is now? He's let me think now. I'm gonna say his name is James Riley.
I'm not gonna argue, Tom. James Riley.
North Longford.
From Cavan.
I'd say even Glasson, kind of that direction. You know what I mean? Like, Cavan, Longford border.
Yeah.
Not
doing
all the
way
way
for himself.
Yeah.
In New York.
But it wouldn't be in a hurry home either, like, because
No.
what you not non-transferable skills, like, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Probably has a hint of an American accent when he needs to.
he went over with the woman that he's still with now.
No, she'd have made him put a shirt on.
Yeah, very good point, Tom. Very good point.
She'd have made him put a shirt on, Jared. For God's sake, she would, because she would know there's going to be cameras at it. Like,
But I gotta tell you, then, not for nothing here now. We could drill this man. Then we could find this man's dental records before this podcast goes out, Tom. But we can't spend the whole night looking at. Here's the thing: we wish juror B400 all the best. We know he's a smart guy. He's not some old trog mall just wandering around the place. Now he's going places, and we wish him all the best with his future endeavors.
but I look forward to reading the book. Do you know?
And I look forward to seeing him in the artist sketch of him standing up. I'm going to look at this. It'll be the first time you look at an artist sketch and go, I know him. I know you, James
I
Riley.
can't wait to see him on the Late Late. That's it. He's going to be on the Late Late for sure. He is, like.
Yeah. Yeah. How he's going to sit. Yeah, exactly, Tom. How he's going to sit still in the juror of 12 with all that pressure on him. Irish people can't sit still in the audience of the Late Late without looking at the camera and winking.
I mean, did they know that Trump owns a bunch of real estate and golf courses and places that people have gotten married and had great experiences at in Ireland?
A wonderful point, Tom. A wonderful point. If this young man, James Riley from Cavan, as we've decided, if he was from Clare or anywhere like that, he would be ineligible for it because Trump has business interests in the area.
Yes.
So we know where he's not.
So he's not in Clare. And Trump is... Where's the other place Trump is... Oh, no, he's doing one in Scotland. A friend of mine has landed the contract of building the golf course.
Oh, yeah, of course he did, yeah.
He built the other one in what you call it. Was more than happy to take it. And he'd a load. Hey, and here's the thing: he'd a load of Cavan lads working for him as well. So it's all a matter.
It's all coming around. It's all coming around. Well, listen, we wish him all the best, ladies and gentlemen. If you know who Juror B400 is, probably don't tell us in the comments because I'm fairly certain that's illegal.
Take it upon yourselves.
That's 100% illegal, Tom.
Oh, it is actually. Yeah. Now that I say it out loud, Ger, it is definitely illegal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we don't want the trial of the century of one of the most famous faces on planet Earth to be thrown out of court because of this podcast. Yeah. Then again, I think it couldn't hurt our numbers, Tom.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Couldn't hurt our numbers.
All right. Well, listen. Let's wrap it up.
All right,
Tom. I swear to God, you and I can even discuss controversial former President Donald Trump without things breaking down into a row. So I think on the home stretch, we're going to wrap it up with that and get out of here before we start a fight.
Rather than doing that, I think we should still at the same time have a row.
My attitude is don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Whether we row with each other or row with the public or row with the whatever God you believe in, I think we should still... That wasn't a controversial enough subject, Jerry, I don't think.
No. Well, here's one that might be, Tom. And we're playing around with the format of the Tom and Jerry show. Normally we'll have a row on the podcast and then ask the fine people of the Tom and Jerry audience what they think, whose side did they land on. We did a little bit different this time, Tom. We asked them what they think about it, and we're going to go through it a little bit here. Yeah. The subject for discussion this week, Tom, is what side are you on?
And as we said, we're not overly political people. In fact, we're under politically people, if that's because it's no crack.
I'm downright ignorant.
But there is a side to items of furniture more than anything around the house.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Tom, I'm going to ask you straight because we don't really prep shag all of this, to be honest with you.
No.
Tom, do you have a seat in your house that's your seat?
Currently, no. And I would say I don't think there was 4 of us growing up. And I was never, I was never precious about it. And do you know what this is now? This is me going against the system, man. Again, like I was talking about with going to M&M, and because everybody else was going one way, of course, my brain was going, we'll go the other way. And it jars with me sometimes. I get offered the head of the table when I go to visit houses sometimes.
Right.
I do. I get offered it all the time, like I'm fucking dinner partying at places. But I do. I don't know why, but I get offered it. And I had it. It was always I had one end of the table, the father had the other. And I was okay with it as a child. But it's in mine. I try to be as non-cliche as possible. So I just gladly just sit wherever.
Right.
I try not to get precious, and because I know what happens, Jerry. I have an addictive personality. If I let anything in the door, that I have to be mean to myself all the time, Jerry. Because if I let one thing in the door that massages my ego for myself, I'll want everything for me.
Yes.
I will lose my mind if you sit on my spot. So I try to just go, I've no spot. I've no spot. Now, we're in the current process of building
You're in
our
the process of
forever
building the
home.
house. Yes.
And there are certain spots, there are certain rules that I know will apply, because this office that I'm in right now, this is sanctuary. Even the boy
Yes.
will stand at the door and go, can I come in? With the door open. He knows, almost like a vampire.
That's a flat no. Yeah.
Almost like a vampire standing at the door, the threshold of your door, and you have your hand on the door frame, and you go, sorry, you can't come in. He can't come in.
Yeah.
And it's the same as that, because he'll come in and he'll root through everything. Only for that
Right.
reason. So this is
All the stuff that you lost.
This is Dad's spot.
Yeah.
Right here, where I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my spot. Other than that,
Same with me in the office here now. Kids need a good reason to come in here, but I'm not necessarily talking about rooms, Tom. And this debate comes from, like, I had a crack with some friends of the podcast about the side of the sofa you sit on, and do you have your side of the sofa? Like, me and my wife have very definite sides of the sofa. It just came up in conversation. I was talking about my dog who thinks he's smart. We send him to bed every night, but when we go upstairs, the minute he gets us out, he jumps up on the sofa, and he always stays on my wife's side of the sofa. And you can tell because it's getting frayed and it's getting you can tell, Tom, because when you come down in the morning and put your hand on it, it's warm. It's clearly been an animal sleeping on it all damn
and your
night.
wife's nails are not that sharp, in all fairness. She's not
Yes.
scratching at this.
Exactly. And I said this, and everybody's like, what do you mean your wife's side of the sofa? I was like, what do you mean? Like, she has her side of the sofa and I have my side of the sofa. They were like, no. Sofa is sofa. You just come down and sit wherever the hell you want. And that was chaos to me, Tom. That's madness. That's madness right there.
Yeah, I'm not going to row with you on that one. And now that you're saying it out
I'm
loud,
with me on that, right?
now that you're saying it out loud, Jar. And to me, we do
not to wreck the place here, but
we do actually have our we do actually, and I don't know why. It's the telly is square on in front of the two of us. It's not that one gets a better look than the other.
I can tell you we're bang on to the TV, but the reason why I sit to the right is that I would.
Are you
play
stage right or stage left?
Are
you audience left?
I'm audience right.
Okay, I'm audience.
I'm over here, Tom.
Okay, is she to your right hand side?
She's to my left.
Oh, okay, right. I'm the other way.
Okay. And the reason for that is very simple. I play a bunch of computer games, and when I have the thing in my hand, I like to lean to my right, so that my right arm is on the
armrest thingy.
sofa.
Yeah,
the armrest thing, and that's just how I'm naturally comfortable. Leaning on the left, not quite so comfortable, and I don't collect. Sonic doesn't collect all his rings, and it's a dreadful time.
Oh, it's a fright. It's a fright when that doesn't happen. Yeah.
And she sits on the other side because she has never expressed a preference one way or another. Doesn't care.
Yeah. And
right?
the dog likes my spot for some reason, but we since then bought those fire guard things that bought it for this. It was actually not needed anymore for when you have a baby and you put a fire gate. Well, that was folded up, hidden away, and I went, do you know what we'll do? Let's repurpose that thing, put it around the dog. The dog has plenty of space from the door to her bed, and that's it.
Love
and
it.
now she sticks her nose through for hours on end, going, I would love to sit on that seat if you wouldn't mind me.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, but that fox shit on your neck is not making its way over here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sofas, and and people looked at me kind of silly, like, why are you picking a side of the sofa? My retort to that is, Thomas, you pick a side of the bed. I'm sure you have your side of the bed. I got my side of the bed. I've had the same side of the bed for 20 years.
Now you have. How many houses have you moved with with your current partner?
With my current partner of McBride Associates, 3.
Right,
I have had the same side of the bed.
But same side as what? Like, what are you relevant to? Are you is Mecca near you? Are you due south?
I
Are
know.
you what is the
Relative to the headboard. I get what you're saying. Like, it's not like I'm lying on the side that's closest to the door, so I can protect the house, or I can be the first man out of it in the case of an emergency, or first man to tackle a burglar or anything like that. Or I'm not, purposefully closest to the window, so I can see the first rays of the sun shine through. I'm just like where I am, because that's where I would naturally lie and like
so
starfish.
it's not rooted in some deep, like, keep in mind in the animal skin tent front from would-be
No,
saber-toothed tiger sticking their fucking head through the door. No.
no. It's just that's my side. And I have carried that theory throughout the house, to the sofa, to the kitchen table. I've got my seat at the kitchen table. Based
Okay.
on nothing. It's not the head of the table because it's a roundy table. It's just that's my seat. And don't sit on it. I'll have words with you if you do. Or if
I think
you're a guest in the house and I see you sitting at my seat, I'm gonna get sore about it.
the only time I was ever precious about that's mine around the house was I had a plate as a child, and I didn't care if they brought out the good stuff, the Royal Doulton or whatever it was called at Christmas, or the willow patterns at Christmas. I didn't care. My plate was my plate, and there was a reason for it, Ger. I ate 2 dinners up until I was about 24 years of age at the same time. So what your average person would eat, I would eat 2 times that. And this plate, I'm not even fully sure it was a plate, Ger. I think it might have been a quiche dish. It had sides on it, like a
I'm just
silage
here
trainer.
thinking that I'm just talking to Alan Partridge over here. He's got a scam going with a big plate.
Lynn, not now. Um, I would, yeah, I would just, it was a plate. It was 14 inches across in diameter and flat, and it had an edge that was up at a 45-degree angle that you could heap on
That's a
food.
casserole dish, Tom.
It was a casserole dish, Ger. I had worms or something because I wasn't putting on, other than the weight that was needed. I just ate like a freak. And it started to thankfully, peter off through my 20s and into my 30s. But
Yeah.
this plate came with me to college. I had it all through from about 14 to the age of about 20, 26, 27. And you're talking about losing things. That plate never broke. I don't know what
No.
they fired it in and what killing in Mount Doom they fucking fired that thing in. But that had hit more, like that had hit every sort of a surface from Liscannor flagstones to actually falling outside on stones, and it never broke, never chipped, never nothing. I think 'twas stolen on me, Ger. I don't think I lost that. I mean, I moved a
I
few
think it was
places.
taken away from you for your own good, Tom, because you're eating out of what, if I'm reading your description right, is a bucket.
If
Tom, you're sitting there eating. Oh, I'm eating 2 dinners out of a goddamn Le Creuset dish.
it was it was a bucket without the handles. That was about it. I was just a calving bucket, like a bucket the calves would eat nuts out of. That's essentially what I was eating, and that was the only thing I can remember that was mine. I never got.
Well, there you go.
I wouldn't stand over somebody at the dinner table like as they're sitting on my seat going.
Well, here we go, Tom. Here's what we're going to do here, buddy. We
Yeah.
are going to delve into the Tom and Jerry social media feed to see what people had to say about these things, okay? Names changed to protect the innocent. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So I asked, like, do you have your side, your seat? Or, Tom, are you hot desking in your own house? I don't know if you've ever worked in an office that hot desks. I have, Tom. It doesn't go down well with me when you come in the morning and you go to sit at your seat and there's someone at it and you can't really give out about it. I can't do it. Yes, indeed. We have one comment here, Tom, that says they always sit on the left. They always sit on the left because they're right-handed and their partner is left-handed. But then they go on to say that it's annoying that they should be sitting on the right, but whatever way it bounces, they end up on the left.
It must be the
Despite
remote
them
thing.
being...
It must be a remote thing because you're going to use the remote in your free flopping around hand, not your leaning
That's
elbow.
madness to me, because if you're right-handed and your partner is left-handed, then swap around. Because you're lying on your left arm on the armrest.
Jerry.
Yeah,
You're
no,
trying to
that
put
doesn't...
sense to a scenario where you go, it is what it is, Tom, when you told me your side of the bed. You can't start now poking at the listeners and going, oi, come on with some reasoning here. When you have None whatsoever.
This is true.
You have no reasoning based, no reasoning based whatsoever. You're just.
You're not lying, Tom. You're not lying, buddy. I never said this was rational.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes when I get asked questions like this, I lie to not sound shallow or not
Well,
sound
that's true too.
flippant. Like
This is
I
Fox News
have
all over again,
this
isn't
has
it?
been a
Yeah, this is
a
New York
question that
Times all over again.
I've
Yeah.
been asked, like, and I'll like Maria get angry, like just go, no. What you'll find is the left is close to the door, and I have to protect the woman, and I don't. It's what.
No.
Look at if we land in.
I said yeah, I said on the left because there's a draft out of the window and I don't want near it.
I don't
we've
even
got
have
another-
that reason. I don't even have that reason, Charlie.
We've another lady here, and I've never seen a more truer thing written down here that she claims to have the side of the bed, seat on the sofa, chair at the table, everyone in their place, and the place for everyone, Tom. And then she seals this with the truest thing I've ever heard in my life. Even if you're the only one in the house, even if everybody else is away, even if you have the house all to yourself, you still sit on your side of the sofa.
I think your
You still
arse.
sit it.
I think your arse knows.
Arse groovedness has to play a lot into it.
Oh, your arse knows, Jar. I'm telling you now,
Your
your
arse
arse. Do you know what they're talking about? The big thing at the minute, and my sister's a big proponent of this. She's in with she's a doctor of this kind of stuff with gut health and your gut biome. It's on everything. There's gut biome stuff inside in your shreddies. There isn't enough discussion about the intuitiveness of your arse. I'm telling you now, you could damn near drive a car with your arse, I say. If you could master the arse, and Jerry, there isn't enough. No, I'm
gonna put that out to the Tom and Jerry listeners. Have you mastered the arse? Let us know in the comments.
I'm serious. You could nearly drive a car with your arse. Like your arse knows. Do you know, like you'll find fellas. You know the way you can train sheepdogs to sniff if a cow's pregnant or if
Yeah,
I reckon
know
the same
yeah.
thing could be like you could go, you go to these faith healers, like, and you go, well, my back is broken. And well, look I'll rub this dock leaf over my own eyebrows and I'll sniff your bones back together. And you have to believe that because it helped the man once in 1928. And
yes,
I reckon, though, we can make a clean fortune by having intuitive arses and people coming to our clinic.
Do you think that, like, how you do reflexology on the foot, you could do some sort of arsology on the arse?
No, using my arse. My arse is very intuitive. Like, if I sit on a seat, I'll know if somebody's been sitting on my seat. There's the thing now. Would you know, without feeling it, would you know if somebody had sat on your seat? Somebody would just an odd-shaped arse to yours. Because everybody's arse is different. It's like the fingerprints of the gods on your...
I think I heard that on Inspector Morse one time, all right. She's like, well, that actually funny to say, Tom. That brings us to our last comment here. We had a couple here. I'm just picking out some of the ones here. The last comment comes from a mobile beauty tech. So someone that goes house to house, door to door, not door to door, but like house to house with clients and whatnot. And when they go to someone else's house, they still have to sit. They still have to sit in what is quote unquote their seat. So if I go to your house, Tom, that means I'm sitting on the right hand side of your sofa. You be damned, because at home that I think that might be a bridge too far. That's taking your preferences into a second location.
Jeez,
you can't have the home field advantage in some other man's home.
No, I think now that's but even that aside, I don't think I'd be overly, because you're never going to be 100% comfortable to be sitting anyway. If you just went up out of that there, I normally sit in the left.
Yeah.
Like, and then you sit down. It's like,
you sit there
and you go, this is nothing like my sofa at home. This is dreadfully uncomfortable. I think your average walking around human knows that they'll be all right wherever they sit. It's never going to be like home.
Wherever they sit, they sit.
And your arse shape is not. Your arse is not going to be in that seat. It's not going to be comfortable. You need a good month for your sofa to meet your arse. Like, there's a long process there. You've got to. It's almost like bringing a new dog into the house. Like, you got to bring the sofa up the road to meet you first in a neutral ground.
Yeah, you got to sit on it in a petrol station. Your sofa,
yeah. And bring it bit by bit, bring it down the road so that you and your arse and the sofa make good friends, so that they don't turn on each other.
And then that's your side of the sofa, and that's it. And guys, if you disagree with us, feel free to do so in the comments, because you can't do it here because we're not going to chat back to you because we're going to hit the road right now. How do you feel about that, Tom?
Well, it's only worth it. I'm off to have a look at my arse, to be honest with you. I think I haven't appreciated it enough. I just came out, I just came to the surface there. I think that was I was talking out my arse for a good 5 minutes solid there, to be fair.
No, we got there. We got there. Yeah, and guys, that's the Tom and Jerry Show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you hear, there's a couple of things you can do for us. You can subscribe, you can share, you can shout it out the window. Just let everybody know that there's a cool new podcast for kicking cats on the street, and it is the Tom and Jerry podcast.
If you are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of the others, sure to hit the top rating that they allow you to give. That it allows other people to find it and join the family. Keep coming with the comments. There's some great comments throughout on Twitter, on Instagram as well. Feel free, keep it coming, because it lets us know that you're actually there.
That you're alive out there, and you know where to find us at this stage. At Tom and Jerry Show will get you pretty much everywhere on Instagram or Twitter, and me and Tom are there as well. You can follow us if you're so inclined, but follow the page. That's what we want you to do. Other than that, don't outjure B400 in the comments. Have a good time watching Star Wars or avoiding it.
And let
comfort
us
of your own sofa or someone else's.
Let us know if you're in tune with your arse. Good luck.
Good luck. Tom and Jerry Show is sponsored by findavenue.ie.
For over 10 years, findavenue.ie has been working in the Dublin area, helping thousands of companies with all their venue needs. From corporate parties to away days, training seminars, conferences, summer barbecues to Christmas parties. The lot.
As a pair of comedians who know what it's like when the wrong venue gets booked for the wrong occasion, we can assure you that findavenue.ie is the go-to service when you're looking for a venue for your upcoming event. Simply contact them at findavenue.ie and they'll do the rest, saving you precious time and hassle.
Best of all, findavenue.ie is absolutely free to use.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you now, with findavenue.ie, free means free. No hidden costs or sneaky charges, all backed up with an incredible team offering you great customer service throughout the whole process. If you need a venue for anything from corporate day out to a quiz night, a gala dinner, or even a virtual event, findavenue.ie is your one-stop shop for all.
Head over to findavenue.ie to see how they can help you with your next event.
Thanks again to this week's sponsor for the Tom and Jerry Show, findavenue.ie.